Go ahead.
Hey, we're just getting things set up here. We'll get started in a few minutes. For people to join. Oh, we haven't started yet. We're still waiting for some people to join.
Hello. We're still waiting for some people to fill up, but thank you guys for coming out. I am Mr. Brazil. I'm the Porter Admissions Manager here at Harmel Academy of the Trades, and this is my trusty sidekick.
Hi, I'm Andy Beach. I'm Dean of the Trades here at Harmel Academy. I'm also one of their instructors in the trades.
Yeah, we really appreciate you guys coming out. So thank you. I know it's kind of late, but this will be a good opportunity for you guys to get to ask some, more pointed questions for us that we'll be able to kind of give you some good insight on. But just so you guys have, while we're waiting for you to fill in the chat a little bit too, the way this night's going to work is we're basically just going to run through some of the commonly asked questions. We're going to give you a rundown of what Harmel does, what we offer, who we are. And then we'll run into a few of your guys' questions, see what we can answer. And then I want you guys to stick around to the end because we do have the information about the JP2 scholarship, which I'm sure all of you guys are going to be super interested to hear about. So again, yeah, thank you guys for coming out. I think that we can have a fun night here. So I'm going to start off with saying that we're in a new campus. We're on 9 acres in Grand Rapids. For those of you who have not visited, we'd love for you guys to come down and visit. You can do that. Go to our website. You can fill out on our public calendar opportunity to come take a visit with me and run into Mr. McCarthy over here and Drew, Andy. So yeah, but I guess we can just talk about some of the questions while the chat's filling up. But feel free to chat in, you guys. Any questions you guys might have. But we'll start from the top if you want to go.
Yeah, so I'd love to talk to you about our programs here at Harmel. So we are a 2-year school, and the first year of school we look at as a discernment year, and we call that the foundations of skilled stewardship. And in that discernment year, we are looking at right now 9 different trades that you'll have a small mini starter segment in each of those trades. Now you'll still learn skills. But the skills are at a beginner level, and they're looking for. We're teaching them in a way that we're having you discern whether that is a trade for you or not. And I'll just quick go through the list. We have machining, we have an engineering CAD program, automotive, welding, metalworking, electrical, construction, carpentry, and then HVAC and plumbing is a session.
So to cut you off, I lean towards the electrical. That's my background. Your background is?
Yeah, I'm a journeyman machinist by trade.
So we have some really, I mean, Mr. McCarthy is in the background, actually being our tech guy. So we have some awesome experience in this room. I mean, what the guys get as far as this first year in discernment it's insane. These young men really are going to come away with a great opportunity to learn the basics in all of these main trades.
Yeah, and then integrated with those trades programs, we have a humanities program. And the humanities program is a study of philosophy, theology, history, film, and it's all based on one subject, and that subject is working man and God. Mm. And what they're learning they're learning subjects like, why do we work? Why is work important to us as a man, as a person? What it means to go to work every day beyond the paycheck. Now, the paycheck's important, and we talk about those things too. But really, like, why is work important to us as humans? And we refer to articles such as John Paul II's encyclical Laborem Exercitum, and in that he talks about things like work was made for man, not man for work. And so as they study that throughout the 2 years, they really get a different perspective on work and why we work and why work is important.
Yeah, I think that's kind of the thing. Other than obviously our men living in community and the faith formation, that's the big thing that sets us apart from every other trade school. Like, you can definitely go other places and learn, a good amount about the trades, but getting out into the real world and understanding that our Lord made you for a specific reason during a specific time to do things. I think listening on these humanities lectures that Mr. Phelps, our president, gives, he does such a good job. It's so interesting because I'm learning every day as well. But our Lord worked with his hands every single day with St. Joseph. And you put that into modern context, and that's like you bringing your boy to the shop every single day and teaching him how to work and the meaning of work and the importance of work. And, we do that through the trades. That's how we form young men here at Harmel. We form them to be, not only members of their community, of their parish, but also great role models and leaders for their family. It's really this holistic approach that, we've seen a lot of fruit. I'm new here, so I'm kind of learning this as I go myself, but getting to meet some of the graduates of Harmel, these young men are great guys, and they're doing well in their work, but more importantly, they're great young men doing well in their families and in their personal life as well, along with their faith as well. So it's a really, really special thing this first year. I think that, a lot of the guys are super hyper focused on the trades, and that's what these two men offer, and they do an amazing job. You couple that with faith formation and Mr. Marshinda, and you couple that with what Mr. Phelps is teaching these guys in the humanities. It's something that I really think the best way to experience it is coming down here and getting a tour and getting to see it in action, because there's something so cool about a bunch of young guys up in the office or up in the shop, or the house, reading Aristotle, and then coming down here and fixing their car. Like that's a pretty cool experience for these guys. So, yeah, again, I touched on earlier that we live in community. So all of our young men, the big thing that we are able to offer now is this new building here on the east side of Grand Rapids. It's beautiful. We're on about 9 acres. Really beautiful old building. I think it was finished in 1906. But these guys live in community. They pray 3 times a day. So maybe you could talk a bit about prayer, and why they pray and where and how.
Yeah. So we have an oratory right here in the house that they live in, and we have the Holy Sacrament as part of that. So we're very blessed by our local diocese, and we pray liturgy of the hours every single day. So we have Lauds, Vesper, and Compline every day. So Lauds in the morning, Vespers before dinner, and then Compline before lights out at night. And that's prayed in community. And us instructors will join when we're here on campus as well, but it's led by the students. So the second year students typically lead, and then the first years learn how to do it throughout the year. And then as they come back there next year, they take over in the leadership of the divine office.
So speaking from personal experience, the coolest thing for me, my first few days here, was coming on retreat when we went up north, and it's seeing almost 40 guys under the age of 25 all chanting prayer in the morning. And Compline especially was special, but like such a powerful thing to see all of these young men striving for something that I don't think you can really find in the world. I think it's difficult to find that strong of a community in the world. I think it's difficult. Mr. McCarthy's making faces at me. But I think it's difficult for you to find that in the world. And I think that that's kind of a safe haven that we offer here. We offer our guys a great opportunity to fail, which, that sounds odd, but when you have an environment where you're pushed enough, you are going to fail. But it's what you do when you fail. How are you going to move forward? How are you going to pick yourself up and learn from that? We're getting some questions.
So the first year, what skills would they learn? So we touched on that. I can go over it again real quick, but we really look at it as a discernment year, not a skills year. And they are going to spend a lot of time in the lab learning skills, but they're more entry level. And I'll talk about the second year as why we teach this way, but machining, CAD and automotive, welding, metalworking, electrical, construction, carpentry, and then HVAC and plumbing. So those are the skills that they're going to learn and be exposed to in that first year.
And correct me if I'm wrong. I think the reason that it's set up this way is because you guys, just with your institutional knowledge, have seen over time that a lot of young men will come into Harmel and say, I want to be an electrician or something. And it turns out I want to be a mechanic. Is that?
Yeah. So when we started the school, we only offered one program, and that was the machine system technology and the electrical program. So the machine system technology and the electrical program. And we had a lot of guys come here. They'd go through the 2 years of training. We'd put them into an apprenticeship, and then a few years in, they would realize it wasn't what they were looking for, and they weren't happy doing this. They wanted to try something else. They didn't know what they didn't know. And we, after a few years of doing that, we shifted very quickly to think that, hey, we're not helping these guys with discerning what their future should be. We're just taking them at their word that they want to come learn this thing, and they find out they didn't really know what the thing was. And so we've shifted and we've gone to this foundations year. And then upon completion of their foundations year, they choose more of a major at that point, and they come back in their second year in that major skill set. And we the one that we have from the beginning we've offered is called our MST, or Machine System Technology program. This is an apprenticeship level program. It's for machinists, machine maintenance, and machine builders. And what you do in that program is you come back a second year, you're going to finish your schooling. We're going to place you with a local business, and you'll be placed in a Department of Labor registered apprenticeship program at that time. So their new commitment would be 8,000 hours to that business to receive their journeyman card.
So correct me if I'm wrong. We of the trades that we offer in that second year, you know, what Harmel offers in that second year, because again, if you're moving into the second year at Harmel, you've discerned, and this is the path forward for you, you know, and I can feel pretty confident saying that. So, and correct me if I'm wrong, but Harmel offers all of the classwork that the state requires.
So what the state calls it is RTI, Related Trades Instructions, and that's 100% done through Harmel. So after 2 years at Harmel, the foundations year, and then the second year of MST, you will have all of the schooling needed to achieve your journeyman card after the 8,000 hours of work.
And then they're working as well in their trade as an apprentice. Is that right? Gaining there on the job?
Yeah. So that's part of their 8,000 hours when they go to work. And we'll talk about work here in a second. Our second program we offer is our electrical program. And in our electrical program, it's the same thing as our MST. You can become a journeyman electrician. So you come back that second year, you finish up all of your RTI, Related Trades Instruction. You go work for a company, and then upon finishing your 8,000 hours, you get a state of Michigan journeyman card as an electrician. And then our final program that we're offering right now is our welding certification program. And this one, the welding world's a little different. They work on specific certifications. So when you come to us the second year in welding, your focus is on how to pass the certification test. So there's a lot of practice welding specifically on becoming certified as a welder on certain types of welds. So it's not a journeyman program. And that one's actually taught by our chaplain, Father Dominic Couturier, who is also our welding instructor. So his family business was welding. So before he was called into ministry, he was a very good welder fabricator with was it 22 years experience, was it? Or someone said, anyway, a lot of years of experience in welding and fabrication before he was called into ministry. So, which
I do want to touch on that point. I mean, selfishly, like, it's the coolest thing ever. We'll have mass for our community here at Harmel, and getting to see a man like Father Dominic celebrate the Holy Sacrifice. And, you know, he turns around in the middle of mass and he's got his work boots on, like his steel toes, like that's just like a sweet example for these guys to see. Like, I'm getting a nod over here, right? Yeah. So back to did I skip over the construction?
No. So right now we don't offer it as of yet, but we're exploring it for next year, is having a second year construction program. We're still exploring what the certification will be for that and what it will look like, but we are working on it. And then, so that's our trades class schedule. We talked a little bit about the humanities. Now, this takes up 2 days a week of the young man's time, two full days of trades and humanities training. The other 3 days a week, all the students have to work. They have to have a local job working. Mm-hmm. We believe so strongly in the working man concept that we believe that the guy should be working and learning about what it means to work. And
I think that's a great point. So a commonly asked question that I know I get is like, hey, are you able to get a certification at the end of this first year? And Harmel doesn't offer any certifications at the end of this first year. What we offer is experience working in the world and then also living in community for that first year. But while they're in the world working, they're discerning, because we like you just said, we require all of our guys to have jobs. I mean, we don't necessarily require them to be in a trade related with a trade related company, but we certainly encourage that because that helps with that discernment process. Is that right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and as so that the guys can find a job when they get here, because a lot of guys travel from different states.
Yeah.
I think we were 17 different states this year. We actually have a small job fair right here on campus in the first week of school, where we have employers that come and they understand that these are students. They understand that they'll be going home at Christmas. They understand that they're only making a 1 to 2 year commitment in West Michigan. And they understand that 2 days a week, they will be in class from morning till night. So at the other 3 days a week they work, the schedule's pretty restricted for the employer. We have employers locally that understand that. So we invite them to campus, and then they'll interview students right here. And most of them have jobs in that first week of school. And their jobs, we call them meanwhile jobs. There's no bad jobs out there, but we'd love for the guys to be working in the trades. We'd love, even if it's not the trade they're choosing now, but working in some kind of trade. So like Discount Tire, a lot of guys are working there changing tires. We have a local a truck repair place that the guys will be taking in transmissions and tearing them apart. We have another place that builds fire trucks. So those are the types of jobs that these guys will get in that first year while they're discerning which direction they're going to go with their career. Now, there's a question in here about the hours of school, the RTI for the first year. Do they apply to the second year? And yes, they do. So when you take, let's say, the machining class, for example, in your first year, and now you want to go become a journeyman machinist. So yes, those hours will count towards the RTI needed. It doesn't nearly get enough, and that's why we have the second year programming where you'll be really focused on that trade. But yes, they do count towards it.
Which is a huge bonus. I mean, so one thing that I think would be super helpful, I know I get this a ton when I'm going to schools and talking to juniors and seniors specifically. They want to know what kind of a day in the life looks like. And I'll quick run through that. And so you fill in what I'm missing. But the unique schedule that we offer at Harmel is 3 days a week our guys are working. So Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, our young men are out in the world working. And then on Tuesdays and Thursdays, that's when they're receiving the humanities classes and the work here in the shop. So, but their prayer schedule stays the same. So they wake up, they pray lauds, vespers in the evening, and then complet at night every single day throughout that. So that's kind of the day in the life. That's kind of the structure. Now, I think a unique thing that we're offering this year, specifically being at our new campus here, our neighbors are actually right across the road here, our apprentice college. They've been super hospitable, and they've been able to kind of work out a deal with us where we're able to use their dining facilities for dinner, which is a huge plus. So our guys still eat in community. It's really cool. You know, they have their own room over there. They're still in community, and they have a wonderful option, certainly better in years past from what I've been told, food options. So it's kind of a buffet style. It changes from day to day, but they're able to go over there. But now breakfast and lunch, they're on their own because they're working guys. And again, like this whole thing that we're doing here, we're trying to form guys to be prepared to step into the world. Like you got to make breakfast and lunch. But the specialty or the special thing that we offer is having dinner with our guys, because that's such an important thing. You know, you think about some of the best memories that you have, and it's with your family around the dinner table. So that's kind of the day in the life for our guys. You know, we do require some study. I think something really special that would have been very attractive to me as a young man is the fact that we do pretty much no like written tests. Is that right? Mm-hmm. I think the idea is like it's really great that you can memorize something. You should be able to memorize something, but just because you can memorize it and write it down on a piece of paper doesn't necessarily mean that you fully understand it. And I'm not an expert on this, and I'm still new, but it seems to be more of a Socratic method where we have these things called inquisitions. We basically make our guys stand up, like what we're doing right now, but young guys and they have to stand up and kind of plead their case. Maybe I haven't been to one yet, so maybe you could help me out with this.
Yeah. So what you're talking about is the humanities, and so there's well, we'll back up to a little bit to the day in the life. So we start out with prayer, like you said, and then we go to a 3-hour trades class.
Thank you.
And then after that, they'll have a quick lunch, and then they'll go to an hour and a half of humanities. And then in the afternoon, they have another 3 hours trades class, and then they'll go to a work of service class, and then they'll go to prayer and then dinner. And then they get a little free time at night, and then they have prayer at the end of night. But in the humanities class, they yes, they're reading a lot of books. They're studying, so it's each one is broken up into a 2-week segment, and they have to orally orally explain what they learned from that book and how it applies to the Working Man and God curriculum. And we're not interested in what they can write down, but what they can orally speak. And so it goes beyond what they're learning, but it's a lot of it has to do with communication. And in the trades, we have a lot of oral communication in the workplace, with a customer, with your manager, with coworkers, whatever it is. You need to be able to look someone in the eye and speak intelligently about the process or the problem that you're working on. You need to be able to learn how to ask the proper questions. And so we're trying to get guys to do that in a world that we live in, where everything is apps and push button and text. Yeah. Sometimes, most of the time, that type of communication doesn't work in the workplace.
And I know that we've had a tremendous amount of success with our guys doing very, very well, because employers will come to us and be like, you guys actually know how to show up on time and talk to me, which isn't crazy. I kind of want to put a cap on that. I would love to come back to the day in the life thing, because I think for me specifically as a young guy, that's what I would want to know. Some questions that I'm seeing: where do students live? Great question. Do you want to take that one?
Yeah, so they live right here on campus. So we have an entire dormitory onto the house that we live in. I think we can have up to 55 guys in our house. So they'll have everyone will have a roommate, but there's a whole dorm area, and then there's a kitchen and dining room built into the house as well. And so they're all living there together. They're prayer, work, study, all in community. But then for breakfast and lunch, they are on their own. There's an entire kitchen. It's got multiple refrigerators. It's got a huge pantry. Some of the guys keep some food in their dorm rooms.
They'll have like mini fridges or whatever.
Mini fridges in their dorms, but there is a communal space for storage of food. And the guys got to learn how to go out and shop and how to do a little bit of cooking.
And find some budget-friendly options.
Yeah, and it's good. It's really good for them. And some guys will communally cook food together on the weekends, or sometimes for lunch. They're kind of sharing. Sometimes it's just a busy line at the microwave for lunch.
Yeah.
But
and I think the question about where do guys live, I would like, again, like I'm going to say this 1,000 times over, but you got to come see Harmel to really fully understand it. This house that we're in, we're calling it the Benedict House. It's beautiful. It was finished in 1906. It was a wealthy family built it back in the day. And then I think the story goes that the diocese bought it in the 60s, is it? They added on dormitory, so it's attached to the building. So it's actually perfect for us, because it's this beautiful old home that has that beautiful old charm that East Grand Rapids offers, but it's got dorms attached to it. So the common rooms areas are beautiful, where they learn their humanities and stuff. And then their dorms are just typical dorms. And then Aquinas actually bought it not too long ago. And now we get to call it home, which is pretty cool. So that's definitely something that I'd want to, That's definitely something that I'd want to know if I was there. Oh, is that real? Kyle's giving me some, this is hot off the press. The bishop used to live here? Like our current, like Bishop Alcovia?
Oh, yeah. So it was a seminary at one point after the diocese bought it, and that's why the dorms were added. They were the dormitory for the seminary.
Hot off the press. Okay, again, like I know some people have joined late, but what kind of questions you guys have? Feel free to ask us whatever you guys are thinking. In the meantime, I can run through some of our questions that we have kind of queued up here, but go ahead.
Well, how about so another day in the life? So what do weekends look like here at Harmel? So Saturday the guys are on their own. It's a day of leisure, And then Sunday, they're expected to continue their commitment to their faith and go to a mass. And I can't remember how many parishes we have here in West Michigan, but it's well into the double digits. And so if you're able to, we ask guys to look around and explore some of the different parishes, and you can find that one that's like at home. And we have it.
Mm-hmm.
We have cathedrals, we have
The
basilica, we have smaller country parishes. And so we don't control where they go on Sundays to a parish, but we do ask them to continue their commitment towards that they made and go to a parish that reminds them of home, or maybe one that doesn't remind you of home. But that's kind of what the weekend looks like. So Saturday's your free day, Sunday's your Sabbath day. And then the weekends, our class week officially starts Sunday night with Compline prayer. And then it's time for bed, and we get going again in the morning.
So I'm getting a question here from Mr. McCarthy. He's talking about asking about the Harmel games. That is the fun thing that we get to do. I actually haven't gotten to go to a Harmel game, but so basically, and correct me, but like, it's the households competing against one another. Is that right? So there's 3 different households. Let me see if I got this. Loretto, Guardian of the Redeemer, and then Holy Cross. All right, I was close. And they all compete. And it depends. Does it depend on the game? I don't really know how that works. How does that?
So we try to change games every month.
Okay.
So different sports, different activities.
Okay. And so that's just like a fun recreation thing and bragging rights. Will there be a Harmel alumni games? That's a go in the future.
Yeah. So we do have a lot of local alumni that are here in town that are still finishing their apprenticeships. A lot of them have moved to West Michigan. They loved it here. A lot of them are local West Michigan, and so our alumni presence is really strong. They have a few houses in town where they're renting, and it's kind of they've turned into the alumni houses. And they show up to events. They're always welcome here on campus, and they'll show up to events. They'll show up to some of our Harmel games. Yeah. We talked about putting together an alumni team so that they just compete every month with our guys. So they are getting a little older too, though. I don't know if they can still compete with the new younger ones. But I did see a question in here about how the electrical journeyman would transfer to Wisconsin. So with this, that's the difference between manufacturing and construction trade. So electrical is actually considered a construction trade, and it's a state by state licensing. It's not national. And that's because each state has its own building codes.
Right.
And so if you did get it here, when you went back to Wisconsin, they'll have a process in Wisconsin on how you can, it's not like an easy transfer, but I think they'll have a local test that you take and you'll be able to maintain your journeyman there, but it's a state by state basis.
From my experience, I think the way that it works, and Wisconsin and Michigan are going to be the most similar, like the Midwest states. But if you get your journeyman's card here in Michigan, I'm not 100% sure on this, but from a few of my buddies who have moved out of state, all they had to do was retake the whatever state they moved into's state license. Thank you, journeyman's test. So all of your credits will transfer as far as the on-the-job work is considered if you don't fulfill or if you don't gain your journeyman's card. So if you stayed in Michigan and you got all the way through and you did pass the state license journeyman test, all you have to do is retake that in your home state or wherever you're looking to move to, which that wouldn't be difficult, especially if you did it once already, right? What other questions we got?
Yeah, so cars on campus are a must because all of our guys work, and so
that's a good question.
They have to be able to get back and forth to work.
Yeah.
And they don't have to be nice cars. One of the first classes we teach is our automotive class, and we try to get the guys where they can do some routine maintenance and some brakes and tires and code scanning. But they do need to have a car to get back and forth to work with, and being that a lot of these guys work together in this first year. They'll carpool. So if you show up to school and you don't have a car yet, that's okay. We can make some accommodations and help you get to work. But throughout the year, you're going to have to get a car. So we had some gentlemen come here from Alaska last year, and one of them decided, and it was probably a wise decision, that he didn't want to drive a car from Alaska down to Michigan. And so he flew here, and then within the first few weeks he bought a local car. And so yeah, but the cars are kind of a needed must here for students, and they're absolutely allowed on campus. And yeah.
So before I really want to get the information about the John Paul II scholarship out, but before we go into that, I'm going to bug Kyle, who's behind the camera. What is your favorite thing about Harmel? So Kyle has been with Harmel from basically the big. Kyle is like the old man on campus. I'm gonna scoot you over too.
The OG.
He is.
All right. Sorry, I didn't wear any branded thing because I didn't think I was going to be in front of the camera. Favorite thing about Harmel is the unsubstantiated wins. So a lot of organizations use a lot of different metrics for wins, right? But like hearing stories from the guys of how they helped their family with a plumbing thing at home after they learned about it, or a guy, purchasing a car and knowing enough to get a good deal or something. Those wins, or those stories about how guys use the knowledge that they learned here to better their life already is one of my favorite things to hear. Helping guys in life is one of the better wins for me. So that's probably my favorite thing, is just helping young guys on a journey of life.
I will say too, like for me, I'll come down. I'll come back. I'll come into the shop because I get sick and tired of hiding in the office all day. And they give me plenty of crap for that. And I'll come back, and Kyle or Mr. McCarthy or Mr. Beach will be talking to these guys about something that has nothing to do with the trade. And that to me is like the coolest thing. So like they'll be talking about, difficulties in faith or something that's a bit more personable, and they're doing it all while holding a wrench or fixing a car or something. And it feels very natural because this is how it's designed. We're forming these guys through the trades. That's the mechanism in which we're forming these guys. You can talk all day to somebody about be the virtuous guy, do this, and this, but a lot of that doesn't sink in unless you're like shoulder to shoulder with them underneath the car or welding or what. And also these guys have a lot of rapport with these guys because they've done the thing. Like these guys are both very, very, very accomplished in their given field. So it's easier for the guys to look up to them because, they've done it and they can kind of show them the path through it. So
Same thing with father.
Yeah. And exactly. Father, yeah, again, like he's the coolest guy.
So I'd like to, a question not asked is how, but we hear a lot is how are you different than a college? And so I was a professor at a community college. And so the biggest difference I think between us and a college is that we're not just here to give them classes. So at a college, you kind of get there and you get to sign up for the classes that you want to take. And then you get to sleep in on Mondays because you only have an afternoon class. You have nothing on Wednesdays, and then you cram on Thursdays, so you get to go home on Fridays. Or that's not how we are here. We're a community of prayer, work, and study. And so from first prayer in the morning at 7:30 until they go to bed at night at 9:30 and last prayer, like their day is a pretty booked day. Like we expect a lot out of these guys, and we're trying to give them, what does it mean to be a working man? What does that life look like? And what does it mean to be a full-time student? What does that look like? And we're going to ask them to do both when they come here to Harmel. And so we don't have the typical college problems of staying up all night and partying and playing loud music, because there's somebody else in that dorm who's got to get up at 5 a.m. tomorrow and go to work. Yeah. And so they kind of self-police it. And when you live in a community of a bunch of other guys going through the same thing, the guys just shine. It's amazing to me. What I love the most is when the guys go home for Christmas break. And not that I'm not like happy they're going home, like I'm happy for them, but it's January when the emails start coming in from parents about like, what did you do to my kid? Like he's a different man.
Yeah.
And we don't get to see it because we have this slow kind of grind every day, working through classes and working through work, and they're busy and it's tough. But as they've left home for 5 months and they go home for the first time, the parents get to see this whole new man. And so that's how we're different than a college. We're really asking them to live into this life, and we're right here with them every step of the way, helping them through the tough parts of becoming a man.
Yeah. So a question we got, that was really well said. The 8,000 hours works. So yeah, okay, that's a good question.
Yeah, so the 8,000 hours of work is that's a tricky one because we don't own that part of it. The employer does.
And I want to cut you off here because that's a standard industry wide.
Mhm.
So that's not a Harmel thing, like when I was an electrician, that's what the standard was.
Yeah. So
I went to the community college, so that was
Yeah. So the employer actually owns the apprenticeship, and then you're working for them. And from all the cases that I've been involved with over the last 10 years, you have to finish with that employer. Like if you can't break it up 1,000 hours with this employer and 1,000 with this one and do that 8 times, it doesn't work that way. The Department of Labor doesn't even actually record your hours. It's the employer recording their hours and then submitting them to the Department of Labor upon completion. Yep. And so if you want to get your RTI here, your related trades instruction here for 2 years, and then go home and get into an apprenticeship, what you would have to do, you'd get a certificate from us for the RTI, a certificate and a transcript
for that classwork
for all of the RTI. And then you would have to go home and you would have to work with that employer and make sure that they would accept that schooling, because we can't guarantee that because the employer owns the apprenticeship. So it's a tough thing. We've ran into problems in the past with similar things like that. But so we try to work really hard with our local employers, and we only try to send guys to places that we know are going to work with our RTI and their 8,000 hours to make sure that guy gets their journeyman card.
So, Kyle, would you be willing to come back on, just because I think your insight on the question that you have would be super, super good. Again, I'm still learning here, so I'm just going to hop out of the way.
All right. All right. So Mr. Beach kind of hit on this earlier, and I'm just trying to fill in some questions while we wait for the chat to do some more. We talked about how there's no like written essays or anything, but the classes here are really project based. So we tried to make it as applicable to real life or industry as we can in the classroom. So for instance, the construction guys this year built a shed. It was kind of ran like a construction site. They had to do the framing, the siding, the roofing. But it's a lot of project based. So the classes run, there's a 20, 30-minute lecture, and then it's a lot of, let's go do the thing we just talked about, instead of, hey, let's talk about it for 2 hours versus like just actually doing the thing. So we're really heavy project based, and we build a lot of things. The second year guys are building a little skid steer for hydraulics class and mechanical drive class. We combine 2 class projects to do one project that encompasses both of them. So it's very important that we're very hands on. So the guys that don't like writing essays for hours, that's what we're trying to attract. So. So I'm dyslexic, and as you probably can tell, so so the guys with dyslexia or reading or learning abilities or disabilities or whatever you want to call them, we're very accommodating to them. The hands-on learning is great for them. because there's not a lot of book work. There's not a lot of reading. Well, I shouldn't say a lot of reading. There's a lot of reading for the humanities side, but most of the books that Mr. Phelps chooses for the humanities are on Audible. They can do audio book, which will get them the same information that they need out of that book for the humanities portion. There's a little bit of online classes or curriculum that we use, but all the online curriculum will read the page to the person if they want. It's not super great. It's a robot voice, but it does read it. So if they have learning challenges like dyslexia, that's very manageable. We've had a number of students through the years that were dyslexic. The first student, no offense, I know you're watching. Oh, that's who asked the question. I should have read that. But yeah, so I didn't read that. Wow. Like I said, I'm dyslexic myself. But yes, so learning disabilities, we work, very closely with the guys, make sure that they're, comfortable, and we accommodate them as best we can. So if you have a learning disability, or say you're colorblind, you're probably not going to be an electrician if you're colorblind. That's just a fact of the matter, right? Like those things, there's some things that do bar you from a certain trade because of, a certain thing. But for the most part, we try to accommodate any disability or learning disability that we can.
One thing that I want to I want to question you about this too, because like we talk a lot about the mechanical genius here at Harmel. And I think it's kind of interesting because Kyle, being dyslexic, literally sees things differently, but he has this like weird mechanical genius. I mean, you both do, but like this weird ability to kind of.
Mine's not weird, but yeah.
Yeah, his is special, yours is normal. Mm-hmm. But this ability to look at something and problem solve and see a solution that maybe somebody like me wouldn't necessarily recognize. So we talk a lot about the mechanical genius, and this doesn't have necessarily just to do with somebody who has a disability, whether it be reading or whatever, but this is kind of something that we found that our guys are really craving that they don't get in traditional school. Maybe you guys could say something about that.
Yeah. I'm not going to ask you to go to the manual and learn how to disassemble and reassemble something. We're just going to go to the project and we're going to disassemble it and reassemble it. And there's nothing wrong with the manuals, and manuals are very important. But we're more interested in Mr. McCarthy loves to say it, what do you do when the manual runs out? Mm-hmm. Or what do you do when the first step of the manual says, remove the cover, and it's got 3 Phillips head screws on it, and they're from 1980. And the first thing you do is strip out all 3 screws. Well, you can't even go to step 2 in the manual because now you've got 3 stripped out screws that you got to take care of. And so it's the little things like that we're trying to teach the guys about. It's not about racing to the end. It's about learning the process. It's a learning problem solving. It's
the journey before destination.
Yeah. Oh boy.
Talking about life, or
well, right. It's all about those critical thinking skills in the trades, and it's not about the easy button.
Yeah. You put it in. You got it. I think that's something that our guys are really in tune with, and they really understand. I think something special too that our guys get to, that you allow, is they get to work on their own cars. They get to fix their own cars. A lot of the guys, with 17 guys from 17 different states, that's crazy. But they all are from the South or wherever, so they've had long trips up here. They're all winter beaters already, so they have to do a lot of work on their cars. So these guys actually get to work on their vehicles a little bit, kind of fix them up, which is super nice for them. But also it's that practical, like, okay, this broke, I have to fix it. How am I going to fix it? That sort of thing. So again, I want some more questions from the chat. I'm curious what you guys have to say. This has been super, super good for us. Thanks. To kind of see what's on your guys' mind. We're going to get going here pretty soon because, I mean, this just shows how awesome the staff is here. Like, these guys didn't need to be here. I did because this is my job, but these guys do not need to be here helping me out, talking about this stuff. So this is huge. A big thank you to everybody here. Mr. Beach, Mr. McCarthy, the unnamed.
You want to go on to the JP2?
I do, yeah. Just thank you guys for being here too. So we are going to be rolling out some really, really, really important dates coming up here. The first one's in December. So if you guys want to write these down now, the way that this is going to work, this is the Pope St. John Paul II scholarship competition based on laborum exertions, which, again, I'm not a Latin scholar. I think it has to do with it's human labor. Is that right? Anyways, the scholarship is you're only able to have an opportunity to participate in the scholarship process if you have filled out your application and have begun that application process, because we don't want our guys who are bought in and really trying to become a member here to lose out on something that they could have won. So the way that the scholarship works, students accept, I'm just going to read this off so I get it right. Students accepted to Harmel Academy of the Trades compete for 1 full tuition scholarship, 1 half tuition scholarship, and 2 $2,500 scholarships. Now, this is something that we've added this year. Each scholarship is renewable. So if you win it this first year, that second year, you'd be able to renew that as well. Now, there's 2 phases to this. Phase 1, participants submit a video presentation based on the prompt announced in December, which will be the first date that I'll give you, and that is going to be December 1. On January 1, phase 2 will begin. Finalists will be invited to campus along with their parents to deliver a presentation in front of the panel. So something similar to the Inquisition that we offer or that we have. And then our finalists will be announced after that. So to be eligible, finalists for the competition have to be, to be eligible to be a finalist for the competition, prospective students must have completed the Harmel application process and must have already been accepted for fall 2026. That's huge, obviously. So make sure that you do the application. Now, the way that you guys can the way that you guys can start the application process, you can go onto the Harmel website and find that as well. But if you struggle to find that, feel free to reach out to me directly. I'm going to give you guys my information here at the end, and I'll send you guys the link to that. Now, I'm going to give you the dates. December 1, competition prompt is announced. January 1, video presentations are due. So when this gets rolled out on December 1, there's going to be a lot more information for you guys, way more in depth. The specifics of all of this will be cleared up. January 15, finalists are announced and phase 2 begins. February 21, finalist competition is held here on campus. And then the last week of February, competition winners are informed. And that first week of March, they will be announced. So we're kind of working our way through the rest of this year. Really, as far as most important stuff is concerned for you guys, for friends and family, get your applications done. Come and visit the campus and try to win the scholarship. I mean, we're a very incarnate school, so come and see us, come and check us out. Now, one thing I do want to say before we go, because I think you can talk about this, is the 24 minutes of Harmel. Mm-hmm. This is going to be like way more in depth. We'll have plenty more of these virtual open houses, but like you guys got to be here for this. This is kind of like the coolest thing in the world. So,
yeah. So we end the year every year with a big go-kart race. So throughout the year in our welding class, in our automotive class, we'll work on small engines, and the guys have opportunities to build these go-karts from scratch. They have opportunities to purchase them off Marketplace and fix them up. But we kind of have this big race at the end of the year, and it's not just a normal race out in the cornfield. Now, it is a race out in the cornfield, but we also have balloons attached to the carts. We have paintball guns,
so
passengers, cool. And we it's kind of like a Mario Kart in real life situation. So it's called the 24 Minutes of Harmel. It's based on the 24-hour Le Mans. So, but in 24 minutes, it's whoever can get the most laps. When your balloons get shot out, you have to go to the pit. You have to switch drivers, switch passengers, put 5 new balloons on, get back on the track. It is
I highly recommend go to our YouTube page and find the 24 minutes of Harmel.
So much fun.
It's sweet. One question we got here: scheduling visits. Okay, so you're asking about scheduling a visit. You can contact me directly. That'll be we're talking right now. That'll be the easiest way to get in contact, and then I'll set that up, and we'll figure a time for you guys to come check this out. Do you accept federal aid? No, not at this time. We're not federally accredited, but kind of freezes up to be us. So
yeah, so there is opportunities to get on a payment plan, and then while the guys are the 3 days a week they're working, a lot of the guys are paying their way through with a little help from working the previous summer, little bit of help from parents, but a lot of the guys are paying the majority of their way through each year while they're here just by working those 3 days a week, because most of their living expenses are covered. They're housed. They have their big meal plan. They do have to buy a little bit of food for the breakfast and lunches, but yeah. So I know it's not the perfect answer for you, but the guys don't leave here with debt. Right. Nobody leaves here with debt.
And so the email that you get. Okay, so reach out to. I'm gonna spell my last name as I go by Mr. B because it's Kyle's gonna put it in the chat. All right, Kyle's gonna put it in the chat because my last name is atrocious to spell, and I'll probably get it wrong myself. So forgive me. But any questions you guys have, regardless if it has to do with the tour or the scholarship or the application, or if you're just curious and you want to reach out and ask a few more questions, this will be the email to reach out to that Kyle just dropped in the chat there. So I have a 1.5-year-old daughter and a baby on the way, so I don't sleep. So it's okay. So feel free to call me. Feel free to reach out. But I look forward to hearing from you guys. I know that inevitably you guys are going to think of something later on or want to ask something a little bit more personal. Don't worry about it. Reach out. If I don't have the answer, I'm sure you do. And if you don't, I'm sure he does. And somebody will figure it out. So thank you guys so much. Is there anything before we sign off that you want to say?
No, this has been fun. Yeah, please.
Also, we have 3 likes, you guys. Kind of YouTube famous. It's pretty sweet.
Oh yeah, don't forget to smash that like button.
He's a vlogger.
And turn on all notifications.
Cool, man. Honestly, thank you guys. I look forward to hearing from you. And again, fill out the application. All right, peace. All right. Nice. No.